welcome. This is my YouTube channel, and I've never done this before, but I'm doing a founder's video. I think you oftentimes can look at my chapter 20 of success and what it looks like right now. The beautiful house, the fancy cars, my 2 beautiful children, my amazing husband, and my amazing marriage. But I'm going to give you a glimpse in on what it really took to get here today. So whether you're an agent, a business owner, or somebody just in a struggling season of life, I hope that you can come into this video today and learn what it takes to overcome setbacks, hardships, struggles, so you can create the dream life that you're dreaming inside. I think you can connect with people more when you figure out like what got them to this moment that they're achieving and living their best life. And it's usually not a road of lots of success. It's usually lots of trials, lots of tribulations. I oftentimes see people have went through trauma, and I'm going to share just some of my stories with you today. So now we are going to Stony Creek, which is where I moved when I first moved to North Carolina. I grew up in Ohio. My parents had me very, very young. My dad had a farming background. My mom also. I grew up like in the middle of cornfields in Ohio, and I started out my life raising animals, competing in 4-H, showing lambs, and that's really where my work ethic and just ability to say no to fun and say yes to what I was looking for came alive. These cute little retired people. Is that going too fast? Okay. So my dad and I lived down here at 882 Creek Crossing Trail, right, or 888. I'm so used to saying 882 because that's my birthday. But 888, it's this end unit down here. So in this season of my life, I had just moved into my townhome. I met my now husband, but this was a season that really birthed the entrepreneur spirit inside of me. So in 2008, I had just moved to a new area. I didn't know a single person, and I was really just starting my adult life fresh. And it was scary, but I had dreams inside, and I stayed focused on where I was going and not where I currently was. I was heavily pouring into my mindset. I was heavily pouring into my faith. I was in just a season of life where I wasn't giving up. Even when things got hard and when I struggled, I just kept going. And I would always say to myself these things, like, God has me here for a reason. And even though it's hard, I know that something beautiful is going to come out of this. So I had always been super interested in real estate. Growing up, my parents bought homes, renovated homes, sold homes, and made a significant amount of money on top of their corporate money. They bought land, separated it off, divided it up into lots. They purchased my grandparents' house and renovated it. So I had had real estate sprinkled in me my whole life. And even when I was 17 years old, and I was filling out like what's my goals for life, what I wrote down was I want to be a real estate agent and own my own real estate brokerage one day. So I had always had that placed inside of me. I just didn't know what it was going to look like. If you would have told me at 17 that I would be here at 40 some years old in North Carolina with a real estate team, with the family and husband I have, I don't necessarily think I would have believed you. So I'm a huge believer in divine alignment, and my husband and I lived in the same neighborhood, met each other, and eventually got married. But his ability to just pour entrepreneur spirit inside of me has been just a pivotal change in my career. And even today, just even before filming this, he like cheers me on and he pumps me up. And I oftentimes don't think, unless you're both entrepreneurs, you know, what it really takes to be an entrepreneur every day. It's not, I just show up and do it every day and feel like doing it. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle of never turning off. It's a lifestyle of sacrifice. It's a lifestyle of going all in and taking huge risks throughout seasons of your life. But it's also a lifestyle that will give you a dream life if you do what you love and you stay true to who you are and you surround yourself with the right people and you pour into others. It's a lifestyle that'll give back to you in generations to come. So after I moved here and passed my real estate exam, I started working for a builder in Raleigh called Orleans Home Builders. And if everybody remembers, back in 2008, gas prices skyrocketed and it was like $4 a gallon. The market had started to slow down. We had seen a lot of foreclosures, lots of short sales. People were in a financial distress situation during that time. And I would be at the sales model and I would maybe have one or two people come in all week. And I was driving from Stony Creek all the way to Raleigh, which is a good hour, sometimes hour and 15 if there's traffic. And he's my husband now, but at the time he was just my boyfriend, my entrepreneur husband was looking at me saying, like, you are making $0. Why are you driving back and forth? And you're not even really creating anything for yourself, and nor are you meeting anybody to build anything. So he encouraged me to quit my job, to start training clients at his gym, to work at his tanning salon and his nutrition store. And that's what I did. So this next place we're going to is where the gym and the tanning salon and the nutritional store used to be. We were there from 2000, I think Stephen actually opened it like in 2007, slightly before me, all the way to 2011 or 2010. And then we changed locations, but we were here for many, many years. And it's really where I started to meet people here in Alamance County. So we are here at where our gym and tanning salon and nutritional store originally were. This is where I first worked when I moved here. I would come here every single day. I would work. I would try to be focused on what I needed to be doing real estate wise, but honestly, I was making pretty good money here. I had 4 or 5 training clients. And I was really able to develop friendships sometimes, even with people I still am friends with today. And it really got myself networked with other local business owners. At the time, we were a private training studio, and we mostly appealed to doctors, business owners. We personal train people. So it did allow me to get my roots established here. And I was here, I would say, for a good solid year before I looked at Stephen very frustrated and said, I love doing this, but it doesn't fulfill me. I love real estate. I really wanted to focus on getting my real estate business going. So I looked at him and said, listen, my broker in charge came to me. I blamed it on her. But she did come to me and she said, you have so much skill inside of you and so much drive and ambition, but I just don't feel like you're directing it towards your real estate business. And she really encouraged me and propelled me forward to get my head down, focus in on my activities, and grow my real estate business. So right now, this is a salon, a home health care business, and iMart Express. But back in the day, the middle door was our tanning salon. Our nutritional store was right over here to the right. And then to the left was our gym. And I lived, when you walk through this middle door, there's a set of stairs that are 2 stories high. I went up and down these stairs 500 times a day, helping Stephen run 3 businesses in one location. If you want to build a business, you have to know people. One thing we always say is your database is your data bank. So when I started working for Stephen at Super Fitness and Super Tans, what my main focus was on meeting people here in Alamance County, and it created what are now the foundational roots of my sphere-based real estate business. I think we live in a world where honestly most of our networking is through social media, or you can go to local networking events. And to me, that's always always felt very surface level. And that's not what fires me up and creates deep relationships. I'm a huge believer in deeply connecting with others, really figuring out what their goals are, what are their struggles currently, what are their pain points, and really meeting them where they're at to figure out how you can get them to where it is they want to go. But in doing so, you need to make sure that you are connecting with them. And that means you have to have some deep conversations and you have to be in tune to their life, whether that means you're communicating with them on the phone, through text message, or simply, and oftentimes I do this, I watch them, what they're doing on social media, and then I reach out and deeply engage in them. When I first started at Super Fitness Super Tans, it was a place that people came. If you've ever been or operated a gym or a tanning salon or a restaurant where people are coming in and out every day, it's oftentimes a place that people come to retreat away from life. So you can learn so much about people, and people would come and see Stephen and I and sit down across from us and either pour into us or just tell us like what was their struggle that they were facing. And we just loved on them. We nurtured them. I developed relationships. A lot of those relationships I still have today. They either poured into our business. And I think it's a beautiful thing to see. We have one gentleman who actually, Stephen and I were wanting to renovate his nutritional company, but we didn't have the money to pay for the floors that we wanted to revamp it with. We went away to Ohio, came back, and our friend who trained with us owned a flooring company, and he put down floors for us completely for free and wouldn't let us pay for them. Well, since then, obviously, I'm in the real estate business. I've been able to pour into his business exponentially. And I think oftentimes we don't see value in giving or doing business here locally. But when you're a local business owner, it will pay your business back tenfold, even if it costs you a little bit more. Like, give back to the community, give back to the other businesses that could support you, and pour value into them. I have what I call a VIP client list that are people that are business owners that I pour into, that I help promote, that I send people who are looking for a dentist, a financial planner, a CPA, a little local boutique. Like, I pour into them that way. I share their stuff on social media. I hold local masterminds where I help teach other local business owners how to use AI technology, the importance of branding, the importance of video, the importance of building a database, and how do you do all those things to grow your business. And if you're able to give people value in ways that other people are not, they're going to stay committed to you and help you build your business too. So at this Allen Tate office, when I joined, I think there was only 15 to 20 agents, but all of the rock stars were here. Jane Irwin, Missy Flora, Joanne Baggerly, they all had very well established businesses. They were all probably selling 30 to 60 homes a year. And they really just embodied me and taught me what I needed to know. I think we go to real estate school and we learn how to stay out of real estate jail, but we don't learn like how do you actually succeed in the business. And I would sit at the front desk and take phone duty all the time, but that's where their offices were. And I would just sit and listen to them, how they negotiated contracts, how they delivered bad news to clients when repair requests came back, and just saw like what were the day in and day out activities they did consistently to grow their business. Wow, it looks so different in here. It's like all open in the front now. The front desk is here. It used to be over there. I lived at this place. I literally would be here till midnight sometimes, and usually the first one here every single morning. In 2024, I sold 100 houses by myself. In 2009, I sold 0 houses. That means 0 income, 0 commission, 0 anything. The biggest difference between then and now is truly just my belief in myself. And those hard times created the belief I have in myself today. When you can overcome what's supposed to derail you, and when you can press forward with courage, with grit, with tenacity, and just overcome everything that's keeping you from your goal, you're gonna gain so much confidence, so much self-belief, and just truly you can now achieve anything that you set your mind to. Looking back, when I first started at Allen Tate, I had these huge dreams, but I felt so much attacking me. And I had to figure out, how do I keep my mindset positive? How do I stay focused on where it is I'm going and not necessarily where it is I'm at right now? And I created myself a little binder that had Bible verses in it, quotes, a little poem that says, "Don't quit. When the road you're trudging seems all uphill, you mustn't quit, you must keep going." And I even had this visual of this little miner that was just trucking through his mine, and he turned around day after day and he would give up, but he would come back tomorrow. And the last day, if he would have came back, he would have achieved finding all of these diamonds he had been working for so long. And I kept that visual in my mind and said, if I just keep planting seeds, or if I'm a miner that just keeps trucking away until I get to the diamonds, like one day I'm gonna get to the diamonds. We fail before we're even close enough to achieving our goals. And the biggest thing is you have to have the tenacity and the strength and the courage and the ability to keep going regardless of what your mind's telling you to do, because one day you will find your diamonds. In this season of my life, I also learned how to work really hard. I would show up and work 40, 50 hours in my real estate business. I still trained people at the gym. I would help out at the tanning salon too. And at the time, my husband also had a nightclub. So I would work at the nightclub Friday and Saturday night from usually 10 o'clock till 2 or 3 in the morning. On the weekends, I would get up and go do open houses, and then I would go work the nightclub again, and then go do an open house again on Sunday. And literally by the time Sunday afternoon came at like 5 or 6 o'clock, we would have a cheat meal, and I would sleep from Sunday afternoon at like 6 or 7 o'clock till 6 or 7 o'clock Monday morning. I went all in all aspects of my life, and I sacrificed my personal life because all I was doing was working. But we oftentimes have to realize you have to go through short-term sacrifices for huge long-term gains. And those years of me sacrificing and going all in, I not only survived by having these other jobs that were paying my bills, but I was able to truly pour into my business and keep going and not give up. And I oftentimes think people walk into an entrepreneur world and think that they're just going to be successful. It took me 3 to 4 years before I even saw a profit. In 2012, I recently looked at my tax returns, and I was 3 full years in the business and I was still operating in the negative. And I was only able to keep going because I had other jobs that were paying my bills. And I just think, like, what if I would have gave up? Most people would have. I would have missed out on all the success I have today if I would have succumbed to what my mind was telling me to do, what my financials were telling me to do, and probably what the world would have done. I would have given up on the dreams that I created. So I think the main difference for me was at Allen Tate, I was an individual agent that was showing up for myself every single day. When I came to Keller Williams and decided to build a team, and I had an assistant and a buyer's agent, I had to learn to show up for others and really take how I led myself and lead them in the exact same way. But it becomes, over there I was a forward production-facing agent. Here I became a leader, and I really developed my leadership skills, figured out how to scale and run my business in a profitable way. I learned how to do business plans, how to do marketing plans, how to do my P&L, and just really learned how to operate my business to not just be profitable, but also to scale it. And I think that's sometimes very scary, and you can go to business school and learn these things, but it's different when you're learning them in the trenches. And then you also have the factor of what is the market doing. And if I have a goal this year of selling, let's say, 150 homes as a team, the profitability of me selling 150 homes versus the profitability of my team selling 150 homes are two different things. So this is where I learned so many lessons on just how to grow my business, how to lead people, how to stay profitable, and how to stay growing every single year, no matter what the market looked like. At Allen Tate, I was able to learn so much, but then I grew my business to a place where I felt very restricted. I learned from all of the top producers there just how to run a business, how to scale yourself, what does the day in and day out look like. But I realized that the value of my time was actually diminishing. And if I wanted to grow my business, I had to buy my time back in some way, shape, or form. And that meant I needed to grow a team. And at Allen Tate, they didn't do teams. So I went to the #1 agency in the world at the time that was growing growing teams, and that was Keller Williams. People oftentimes think being a leader, being the business owner, looks glamorous. You make all the money, you get to call all the shots, you're in total control. But that is the furthest thing from the truth that I could ever tell you. Being a business owner, being a leader is like having two jobs. You have to still show up for what's making you the money, but you now have to lead people. And in leading people, it means you never ever get a day off. I've had children and been back at work 7 days later. I rarely take vacations. Some of that, you may say, is not healthy, but to me, I have to keep the momentum in our business moving forward. I have to look totally resilient. Even when life is happening around you, you still need to be the face that's leading people and pouring into them and giving them confidence, helping them develop their confidence, showing them what courageousness looks like, regardless of what's going on in the market, and really just instill within them a belief that I have your back, I'm here for you, I'm gonna pour into you. And when you have to be that person for others, that means you have to spend just as much time being that person for yourself. And oftentimes leadership and growth and success becomes very lonely. And I've went through seasons in my life where I've grown myself and grown my team and felt very, very isolated. And at first, I used to just allow that isolation to take over. And then I realized I have to get around other people and get in bigger circles that are doing what I'm doing. This phase of my life at Keller Williams was all about team building. I went to Keller Williams to build my team. I had 0 people on my team. I had to find an assistant. I had to find a buyer's agent. You then go through these scary phases of I have the responsibility of making sure my assistant's family's fed, that I have enough business coming in to be able to support my buyer's agent. So now it becomes not just about you, but it becomes about how do I provide for others financially, and how do I also create a system and a world that they can plug into where their dreams can be embedded in the team's dreams and we can achieve things together. And that takes a powerful mindset to make that bridge. It also takes making sure that you are staying the driving force behind the business, that you're creating the vision, that you're allowing other people's visions to be aligned with your vision as well, and that you're staying true to who you are. I've went through seasons of my business growing a team over the last 10 years where I've drifted and thought I wanted to do this, and maybe this is what was trending in real estate right now, but it wasn't truly who I was. And I've had to learn that and I've said it before, money has a diminishing value. You have to stay true to who you are and do what you love to do. And you have to then lead others to do the exact same thing. So for those of you that have kids, and especially if you're an entrepreneur as well, you know when kids come into your world, you have to make adjustments. And one of my values is to make sure that I'm always an in-present mother. And as big as my professional life is, I want my personal life to feel just as big. So in 2018, I had my son Manny. I was at a place where I needed to really just protect the environment around me, but also be able to bring my son to work. So my husband said, there is a spot in the gym that we can remodel, and you can move your office here, and you can bring Manny to work every day, and you can just get stuff done and still be an in-present mother, but also a boss of a business owner too. And that's what we did. So literally Manny grew up in the office and in the gym. Stephen just recently remodeled it. We actually moved locations last year, but this is where I grew my family up and grew my business. So in 2017, I looked at my husband. I was 35 years old, and I said, we've built these amazing businesses, but why are we doing it? We didn't have children, and children can give you such a deeper purpose for life. So we decided to have kids. We had Manny in 2018. 4.5, 5 months later, I was pregnant with Sophia, and we had Sophia in 2019. And one of my biggest values and biggest purposes in life is not only to have a big business, but also to have a big life. So I wanted to make sure I could continue to sell 100 houses a year, but I could also take my kids right alongside of me every step of the way. So my kids literally grew up in real estate, or grew up at the warehouse with my husband. I moved my office out of the Keller Williams office so I could bring my kids to work every single day. My kids were raised by the other agents and my assistant on the team. I took them on listing appointments with me. I took them on buyer appointments with me. They went with me to the office every single day. I still got up and did my normal routine, and I just made my kids adapt to what my schedule looked like. And it wasn't until 2022, I believe it was, I finally took my kids to a full-time daycare, a preschool, that they then began their life journey of education. And I dove back into my business even harder and grew my team to even a larger level. And then at the end of 2022, I realized I had outgrown the brokerage I was in at Keller Williams, and I wanted to collaborate and be around the higher producing agents that were building larger teams, but also building larger brands, and I decided to come to EXP. So moving out of the Keller Williams office into our office at the gym really allowed me to protect the energy and the vibe around me at a much higher level, and that was very important for me at the time. It wasn't professional to bring your kids into work, but that was important to me. So being able to bring my kids into work every single day is what kept me moving forward and kept my ability to lead the team moving forward as well. But it really helped us protect the vibe and keep our mindset solid and focused on where we wanted to go. Now, the thing about it is, even though we were an office inside of my husband's gym, it still didn't feel like it was the right place for us, but it allowed us to network with people that were coming to the gym. We had hundreds of people coming to the gym every single day. Still to this day, my real estate sign is the only one up in there, and it really allowed me then again to grow our database, which is your data bank, and grow our business to the next level. But at some point in time, I knew I wanted to own my own office building. Well, it's just inspiring. This is just an inspiring building to walk into every single day of your life, and I feel like it elevates you. It makes you want to take your business more seriously. It makes you want to step up your game and just rise up to who it is you want to be on the inside. We had been looking for a building. We're obviously in real estate. We don't love to pay rent or build somebody else's wealth. And I had actually made offers on another building around the corner on Huffman Mill Road, right beside the McDonald's. I love the style of that building. It did need a lot of work, and it was a little bit smaller, about half the size of this building. And I just had been in prayer. I actually created a vision board, and the week after I created my vision board, my dream car came to life. And I also got a phone call that there was this beautiful off-market building. The minute my banker, who actually brought it to me, told me where it was, I said, I can't afford it and I can't do it. And I just started every excuse in the book of why this building wasn't perfectly placed in my lap. And I called my husband and I said, look, I want to go see it. I'm sure it's going to be out of our price range, but let's just go take a look and talk to our banker and see what we can do. So we actually came here, we talked to Frank, one of the owners of the building. He told me the price. I already knew what I thought the value was. And I looked at my husband and he said, we'll figure it out. And that's what we did. So this building actually came to me off market, and it's been the best thing that's ever happened to my business. And it's allowed me to scale my business to the next level, have a better space to grow me and my team. And it's also a real estate investment, which we all love to grow wealth through real estate. I think oftentimes people come in and think that they're going to start working and success is just going to show up. But usually when you start going harder or you start achieving and wanting a higher level of life is when the struggle shows up. And there's a season every single time of that first step of growth where hardships come into play. And hardships have came in for me every time I get ready to grow. The first time I did it, it was all new to me. Now I know if I'm getting ready to grow, I better get ready. The hardships are coming. There's a struggle season coming that's just going to be a place where I learn something new or I push myself to grow at a higher level. But my original struggle season oftentimes has the same things in it that my struggle season now has. My childhood looked like a decent amount of trauma. So when I started my business, I had to really hone in on my self-worth. I had to hone in on my confidence, and I had to just lean in on my discipline and obedience and action, and know that through that, I would build upon my confidence. And I really worked, to be very transparent with you, I would read books on what it was I was struggling with. I think people in today's world think sacrifice is missing your Sunday night football game because you have to stay up and do things you need to do to move your business forward. Sacrifice in that season of my life, and even now today, is every day. Every day I'm giving up something over here to gain something else over here. And what I really had to look at were, what were my values? What were my purpose? And I look at every minute of every day. And if it doesn't align with my value, and if it doesn't align with my purpose, I don't do it. And that oftentimes I miss doing social things. I miss going home to maybe see my family as much as I would, because right now I'm in a season of growing my business and doing things to scale my business to the next level, really for my children to see in this season of my life. And that's what my purpose is. And you have to ask yourself every single day, is what I'm doing today getting me to truly where I want to go? Or is it distracting me and taking me backwards, or just keeping me in this season of being comfortable? I even had to have that conversation with myself this past year. I had 2 babies, COVID happened. I grew my business to a level that seemed very comfortable, but I was lacking fulfillment. And I said to myself, if I want to grow my business to this next level, what is it I have to sacrifice? Or who is a person I need to bring in my life to leverage myself a little bit more to get to that next level? And really that's what sacrifice starts to be. You either are sacrificing time or money to get to where you want to go, and you have to figure out, is the time worth more to you, or is the money worth more to you? And you're going to have seasons of your life where the money is needed, but the time is worth more to you. And I've lived through those seasons. But every day you have to get up and align yourself in saying, where is it I want to go this week, or this month, or this quarter, or this year? And what is it I need my life to look like? And that means I can't go on 7-day vacations. In fact, I've only ever been on 2 in my entire entrepreneur life. When we go on vacation, we go away for 3 or 4 days. You have to learn to figure out, what is the momentum I need to create and keep to get me to where I want to go, and know that there's going to be sacrifices along the way. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of the insight of the journey to creating the A-Team and to creating essentially the success that surrounds me today. If you would, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. In 2025, my main focus is sharing my story with you more. So stay tuned. I can't wait to see you on the next one.